Okay, here's how you can log into Bromcom so that you can access Power BI across the All Data feed. First of all, go to the MAT Vision website, and the URL is just vision.bromcom.com. This will bring you to this screen. Now, you should know already what your customer code, username, and password are. Making a special note at this stage of your customer code, because you'll need that in the next section. So log in here. And that should take you to this home page. Yours, of course, will look slightly different because you'll have a different mix of schools. From here, you need to go to Reporting and All Data Integration here. From this screen, make a note of the two pieces of information up at the top here. First of all, the All Data Service URL. And if you are like me and tend to forget these things, I normally open up Notepad and just paste it in, so I've got a copy of that. And also, perhaps just as importantly, the API key here. It's a long number, but you've got some buttons here. The blue button here allows you to copy that to the clipboard. And again, you can paste it into your notepad. The rest of the information here is basically what we're going to do next. So I'm going to flick into Power BI now and take it up from Power BI. Okay, here I am in Power BI. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to Get Data. And you can use the little drop down or the actual icon itself. I've just gone for the main icon. Brings up all the options, this one. The one I'm particularly looking for, of course, is called the All Data feed. And you can click through the different tabs if you want, or you can just type in All Data here. And you should find the All Data feed option quite easily. And we want to connect to it. So the first thing it wants is the URL. And if you remember, the URL is this first bit here with the All Data bit on the end. So I'll control copy that back into Power BI and pick. Now when you see this screen here, the option we want is basic. And the username is the customer reference number that we took from the very first box on the login screen for Bromcom. So type in whatever it is. And the password is that API key, the long one that we pasted into the text document. So I'm just going to copy it out of there. Control C, back into Power BI, and that's the password that I'm going to put in there. Then we can just click on Connect. And after sometimes a little bit of a delay, you should see a screen that looks like this. And this is the screen that shows all the tables or all the data that's available to us coming from Bromcom. Now, you might be tempted to tick on all of these. Each of these are separate tables within the Bromcom database. And you'll see there is a table called students, which you'll be right in guessing is where most of the student details are contained. And you'll also notice that there's an attendance summary, which is a year-to-date summary, attendance summary by month, and attendance summary by week, as well as behaviour and assessment tables. The first time you do this, I just recommend you bring one or maybe two tables with you. I'm just going to bring across the student details and attendance summary by week. So when you're happy with that, you can load, and that will take you straight back to Power BI Desktop. But I usually click on Transform Data because that brings us to the Power Query Editor, and there we can check that the data is in the format that we were expecting. So I'm going to click on Transform Data. So here we go. Once it's brought it into the Power Query Editor, we've got the option now of having a look at what the data actually is and making sure that Power BI has interpreted the columns in the right way. Now, it's probably a longer course to go through data cleansing and data preparation. So all I'll recommend at this stage is you look at the data types for each of these columns and make sure that Power BI is interpreting those columns in the right way. We're in attendance summary by week here, and most of these are numbers, so that's fine. Have a look at students and just make sure that Power BI is interpreting these as either text, yes, no, true or false columns, or numbers. Once you're happy with that, click on Close and Apply. And at this stage, we'll go back to Power BI Desktop. But what Power BI Desktop is also going to try and do at this stage, it's going to try and link those two tables together. And this is one good reason why I recommend you don't import all those tables in one go, because Power BI will go ahead and it will look at each of those tables in turn, and it will try and link them together using perhaps the student ID number. And sometimes it will do it correctly, but sometimes it'll do it incorrectly. But whatever happens, you'll end up with a heck of a lot of tables and a heck of a lot of relationships between those tables. So just bring across the tables that you absolutely need for the job in hand and no more. Plus, of course, if you bring across all the tables, you're bringing in a whole lot of information that you're never going to use, and that's going to slow your reports down. And there you go. When it's finished, you should have two tables in your data model, students, and in this case, attendance summary by week. And you can start now to build your analyses.